So who is going to start that? Who is going to start with where they are at the moment? Okay, somebody said I stopped at conditional formatting, applying icon set. Okay, so we are actually, that is Yemisi Azizat. Okay, so we are going to do this now. This is week 2. We're just rounding up week 2, right? We are rounding up week 2 today. And so it's what occurred from day 6 to day 8. Yes. So conditional formatting using data bars, using icon set. So different conditional formatting here. So we covered splitting data via delimiter, and that is number of characters and so on and so forth. Okay.
We use the delimiter, we use the concatenate to to merge. We can use it to merge, we can use it to separate. I've tried that on my, I've tried that to work on it and I actually get it.
Okay.
So it's easy for me, the splitting of data. We are going to create the column first, then we'll try to highlight, then we'll go on to the, what is it called? The data tab, where we'll get the data tools, then text and column. We'll check the delimit first. After checking delimit, we'll go to order, then we'll check for the slash option, then we'll see the preview, then the one that I want to go first, we'll say do not include in the tab and the like. So that's how I followed what you said. So I got the date, I was able to split the date and even the name. It was the combining of the name that actually was kind of difficult, but I stopped it, I left it, and I had to take care of my children. So later, the other day, before I actually read for the last one, I tried it again. Then it was that we're adding apostrophe and then space got me confused. So I now discovered that I have to insert comma first, put the apostrophe, then space, and close the apostrophe, another comma before writing the next one. So I got it later. It's this professional formatting and lighting that I have not been able to do. I won't lie, because the children and all. But I will try and work on it before starting the class on Monday. That's what I do. I'll practice the one I've read before before going on to another one. Yes, sir.
All right. So Ms. Yemisi, that is excellent. So you've done very well. So now on split column, right? We use delimited. So I'm going to share something like you explained. That means you got the delimited very well, splitting with delimiter. So, but there are a lot of splits. For instance, there's a challenge somebody shared with me recently, and a junior data analyst. He was trying to remove, let me share this screen, right? He was trying to remove the first, that is country code, rather. He was trying to remove country codes from the data set. So he tried, he could not, because when there's, when there's a delimiter, it's easy. For instance, if you look at this date column now, right? If you look at this date column, it's easy for you to see, oh, I know the delimiter, and the delimiter is /, right? You could say that, yes, that's the delimiter, it's easy. Sometimes you don't really get to understand that this is just the delimiter. You might just be looking for number of character to remove, to separate rather. So when we go further, you see that I described an efficient way of separating columns too, that you need to also know how to use. But here now, I want to show you all something here now, okay? Let's say we want to split this column M, right? You know that when we use delimiter, we came to data, right? I would say text to column, isn't it? And in the text column, you see we have delimiter. Okay, but we have another function here called fixed width, right? So we know how to use the delimiter. So what does the fixed width do? We are basically going to see now. I can create, delete, or move a particular section of this. For instance, if I do like this, you see, can you see what I'm doing?
Yes.
So you see this data preview we have from 0 to 60, right? It's like a ruler. Let me do it again. Data, text column, fixed width. Then I click on next. Then you see now, so we use the fixed width to create a break line, or to delete a break line, or to move a break line. So how do you add a break line? You can come in between the data set here, the data preview rather, and add a line. Okay. If I click on a line, it removes. I can move a line. See me moving a line. Click, hold, and drag to move a line. I can basically move a line. Okay. Now I have this line like this. It is easy for me to now only work with this date, this year. If I click on next, you see, it almost works like how the delimiter will work, because I can say I do not want to import this other one. Do not import. And I want to import this, the year. I want to import it here. Okay. If I say finish, I have 2014. But you can see that we still have some issues around. So that is why it's most efficient to just use a delimiter, right? And that is why we didn't talk about this in the tutorial. But if you're ever wondering what is the fixed width used for, this is what it's used for, okay? Are we following? Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, we are following.
All right. So on still on text column and on delimiter or delimited, we basically have, and this is because we did not highlight any listing, right? What we highlighted was this. So let me just highlight this. Okay. So the profit column now, on our data tab, data tools group, we'll go to text column and we've picked delimited. If you click on next now, we have several delimiters here: tab, semicolon, comma, space, and others. So the truth is that we have delimiter, something separate. We have comma and we have the full stop. Okay, I think the better example, anyway, let me do this, then I'll give you this example again. So if we say we want a comma, let's move tab. We say we want a comma. So anywhere comma appears, you can separate your data from there. Okay. You can also come to others and even type comma here. You can do so. What these others work for is when you don't have like delimiters like @ right? Like @ like backward slash and forward slash, delimiters like open brackets or any other parentheses. So that is what you use others for. But for tab, you know tab already, you know semicolon, comma, and space. Okay. Let me do something here on a new sheet here. And so let's say we have John Obi. Okay, sorry, John. and we have Obi. We have Linus. We have Linus, Ibe, Patrick, Okon, Joshua, Peter. Let's say we have this now. Please, sorry, I'm having cold. So say John Obi at gmail.com. Okay, let me just put this now. We'll talk about flash fill some other time. Well, let me just have this now. So I want to ask a question. With this, on this email, what would we say is the delimiters here on this email, on the emails you see? What are the delimiters?
I think the
period. The
Okay,
add function and the full stop.
Okay.
the full stop.
We have at and we have period. Those are the delimiters. So sometimes I was sent a data set once and I was asked to take out the username, right? I was asked to take out the username. So what I just did was to create a column called username. Okay. I created a column called username and I separated this, the email column. I did that by highlighting the email column, went to data tab, and then on the data tools, I say text to column. Then on delimiter, I went on, okay, I say next. So on others here, I picked others and I said at. All right. You see how it separates in the preview window. I said next. Then I came to the extension gmail.com and I said do not import. Then because I want to import the username, then I now said I want to change the address to username, right? Then I clicked on finish. I got, oh, it came with email, sorry. Let me repeat that process again. So because I highlighted, they highlighted the data, went to data tab, text to column, delimited, then yes, it continues. And I said, do not import this. The extension, I just want to import the username and I said finish. Okay, I didn't change, so basically it remained at the email. Again, text to column, delimited, next. Others, I want to separate using the at, next. Let me change the location now to username. Then I click on finish, okay? So I have the username here. I can take this out. Okay, so this is what I did. And now I was told that I needed to add at, for instance. So imagine you have a lot, this is small, so you might not notice how difficult it will be. Imagine having to do this. imagine having to do that and it's telling you it's not a text that is allowed. Imagine, right? You know how it is now when you want to refer to somebody on WhatsApp, you say at, isn't it? Are we following? Okay. So let's highlight this. Then we go to the home tab, to the numbers group. We have some formatting here. We have text format. This text format converts a string, a text, a content of a cell to text. However, this is text already, right? So you have custom here where you need to impute a type. Now you have at here, okay? So you can see now that I can easily impute the at. Well, if I was too fast, I'll go back again. So right now, I will not be able to put the at. I can't put the at, right?
Yes.
Okay. So to make sure I can put the at sign, okay? To make sure I can put the at sign, I have to format this to however I like it so that my at sign will be able to be there. So I can highlight all of the data I want to put the at sign in. Then I go to my home tab. I go to numbers group. I click the drop down on more. So now, like I said, I think I have pointed this out before. To know easily whether your cell content is a text or value is a position. For instance, when it's on the left side, it's a text. When it's on the right side, it's a value, maybe date, numbers, and amount, currency, and so on. So there's no need for us to make them text because this formats to text. If I had values here, I could say I want them as text and it could just be text, right? Now, so I want to come to custom, isn't it? So on custom now, you can see that you have dates and so on, date formats and numbers and so on. So what you can do now is to come to the type here, under type, take this out and just add at. When you add at, you can see that it's a custom arrangement that you can write any other thing after at, but the Excel cell will now accept the at, okay? We can then click OK. When we click OK, if we write at now in front of this, it can basically just collect it, okay? It can accept it. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if for any reason, let me even put this about formatting too. If for any reason you have phone number and you want to write, for instance, 08100895523, you know that it won't take this, you take the 0 out because Excel wouldn't have 0, except there are various ways you can do this anyway. But you can format this to make sure that every phone number you write here will start with a 081 or 080 and so on. So the easy way to do that is still to do this formatting. You go to home, the numbers group, click for more of the drop down, then head to custom. Then when you have general here, you can take it out and have 0 start it, right? Okay. You can have 0 start it. Then let me do that again. You can have 0 start it, or you just write 11 digits of zeros, 11 zeros, right? home, more, custom, then zeros. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So immediately I did that. You see on the sample here that we have is 081 now, right? And click OK. You now have 0810, 091, 87, 43567. So you can have the zeros starting now. In fact, if the number is not correct, it's going to be easy for you to know that the phone number is not complete. For instance, if we had 0, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we have it, you see that you definitely know that this number is not correct because you are formatted in such a way that it collects 11 digits. So because it collects 11 digits, you realize that this number is definitely not correct. Any number starting with 2 zeros is not correct, especially with our own number format here in the country. Okay.
Okay.
So does anybody have a question concerning, do you have a question concerning any part of the week? Mr. Nosika, are you here yet? Are you here now?
Hello, sir. Hello.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, my apologies, sir. I was having power issues here, which I just resolved now. I'm so sorry.
No problem, please. So did anybody submit any question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me go to the questions, okay?
Okay.
Did you share them with me?
Is only one question that someone actually submitted here.
Okay.
Yes, let me read it out.
All right, okay.
Is explain more about using the dollar sign to make a cell constant and why.
Okay. Okay. Is there anybody that can answer that question for us?
Yes, I can answer the question.
Okay, can you go ahead and answer? Then I'll just demonstrate.
Okay. One of the reasons for using the dollar sign is to make a particular cell a constant, especially when you are carrying out an arithmetic function, like maybe trying to use the division. Now, the constant can be the denominator in the sense that, okay, you want to divide cell B2 by cell B5. So the B5, you now have to add the dollar sign in before and after the B, then followed by the cell number to make it a constant when dividing the data as in B.
Okay. That is great. Thank you, Mr. Nasike.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I want to there are various use case scenario, and Mr. Nosike has explained one effectively. So now the constant to a cell is this. Let's say we have total number of students, right? And we have, say, 1, 1, 2, 3. This is the total number of students. Okay. And we say we want to check the product, right? Even product, for instance, because I'm trying to see how I explain the product. Then we have let me put it this way now. We have this number, total number of students, and we have numbers per school. Okay. Numbers per school. And we had different schools, and we had their numbers. Let's say AA Academy 123, CDB Academy 221. Okay, let's say we had something like that, and we had more, right? In this case, we want to do a product, and we say product. Product is multiplication, yeah? And we want to multiply this by this. It's just, I'm trying to just give a scenario here. We want to multiply this by this. And we're also multiplying this by this. And we may even have more, right? Let's say I'm coming, let me do something equal. Okay, I think let me make this a random case. So what I did is, if you ever want to generate a random number in Microsoft Excel, you say equals to rand, and you open and close, okay? It will give you a random generator. It's a random generator of numbers, so we can just have numbers this way, okay? Okay, so let's say we have this, and let's make this a percent. We basically have this. So we want to do, let's say, a product of this and this. So we know that instead of us to do this, instead of us to say equals this multiply that is shift 8 by this, if we do this, right? If we do it this way, we cannot continue to keep doing everyone. It won't be productive for us that way. We want to be fast about setting up our data for analysis. So if I were to fill, we are going to have 0 because it's going to be a division error. Look at this formula now. It says I3, which is correct, divided by G3. You see, it's not correct, isn't it? Okay, multiply rather, I say divided. Multiply by G3. You see, it's not correct because it keeps going down. Micro Excel will keep it's going down, right? It must go down to the corresponding it keeps going down, right? So to make this a constant so that we can easily work with it, I will just say add the $sign F4, okay? Your function key F4 will add the $sign automatically. So, sorry. So I can easily just autofill now and get my results. Now, be careful with random numbers because each time you hit enter, it changed. The numbers change. Each time you perform a calculation, the random numbers change. So we just use it to buttress a point, okay? So is that clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, Mr. Anosike, you say we had just that question, right?
Yes, sir. Just that question.
Okay, just that question.
Yes, sir.
So, we did sorting. We did sorting. We did that during the week. This week we covered sorting. We covered and conditional formatting as well. So let me just go through those. We covered filtering data, sorting, and splitting via delimiter, and so on. And then combining data, then conditional formatting. Okay. Now, let me just do for sorting, then we go to filtering data now. Now, to sort this data we have here, say number of school, let's say we want to sort in ascending or descending order, what we just have here now, just this little example we have here. So we can basically sort it this way. Sorting is quite easy. You go to your home tab, then on the editing group, you have sort and filter. All right, you can have sort A to Z or sort Z to A. But this is just something that is common, right? Then you can click on custom sort. The custom sort is where you can actually manage your sorting in different ways. You can add levels to your sorting, okay? Then, for instance, now, we want to sort, what do we want to sort by? The sort by means here is that what column are we sorting by? For instance, if we sort by column H now, for instance, the order is going to be A to Z. Are you saying? Because if we do this and say, okay, you see, we are going to have an A to Z sort. Okay? Because you are sorting by a column that has letters of the alphabet. Let's go back to custom sort. And we want to sort by 2 levels now. That is why I added the add level. We say sort by, then sort by. That's what we want to do now. We want to sort by the column H, which is the alphabet, A to Z. Then we want to sort by the product column here. So we are going to have column J, right? We are going to put column J. So immediately you pick a column that has numbers, is going to change from, the order is going to change from A to Z to either smallest to largest, largest to smallest, or a custom list of what you want to do. So let's use largest to smallest, for instance, and we say, okay. So this is what happened. Is this sorted? We did a double sort. We did a double sort. A sort of this from A to Z, and a product, a sort of the figures from largest to smallest. That's what we did. Because if you check, we had two we had AA, and CBD, just 2. So we practically just did 2 level sorts. Okay? That is what it means by add level. You can add a 3rd level if you like, sort by this. Let's use column I now, for instance, and smallest to largest. So you basically have your sorting. But again, when adding levels, always be careful to note that you cannot basically have a confused system. If you want to sort largest to smallest and you go to another number and say, or another column that has numbers and say you want to sort from smallest to largest, you know it's going to conflict. Okay? So what you do sort, the levels to sort that is recommended is you sort using different data types. For instance, you could sort using a different criteria on dates. You can sort using a different criteria on dates, right? Who has used name ranges here? Who has reached name ranges? Let me not try something that is too far. Okay, so let's sort this. Let's look at this. Let's copy LMO. Let's copy this into a different sheet so that it's going to be clear for us to. So let's work with this now. We have currency here. We have date here. We have number of months. And we have month name. So let's use currency and dates, for instance, now here. Are we following, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Ilona, I should recap on the dollar question after talk on sorting. Okay, all right. All right, so now I could easily sort with one. I'll start with sorting with one column so that we see the difference. Let's watch closely. I basically, on home tab, on the editing group, I click on sorting, okay? Because I have those figures, you see, smallest to largest, but I just want to come to custom. I need to have some level of control. So it's asking me, and always remember to pick this. My table, my data has header so that it remembers to pick your, are you seeing what it did? Remembers to pick your first row as headers. If not, it's going to pick it as part of the data. Okay? So check, always make it, check it so that it picks your first row as data header instead of part of the data. So I want to do a one sort. I want to sort by this data called profit. So let me sort with profit first. And it say profit, I can either sort by smallest to largest or largest to smallest. Let me use small or largest to smallest because our goal on profit is to see what is most profitable. All right. So I can say, okay. And I have this sorting here now. I have it sorted from the largest to smallest. Scroll down to smallest. Okay. So let's do a dual sort and see. Go back to sort and filter, custom sorting. So I have this sorting already. I want to add another level. So I have to click on this level. If I want to delete this level, I just go and delete the level, okay? So let me add another level. I want to sort with this, okay, month name was not highlighted. Let me cancel and begin again. Let me highlight my entire data set. Then custom sort and add level. I'll say sort by now, month name. And month name is what? Is letters of the alphabet. So I can basically sort from A to Z or Z to A. So remember this sort, the profit is still large to smallest. Okay, so I say, okay. So on the large to smallest, the first sort remains constant, while the second sorting will sort it in such a way that I can have A to Z, a little kind of A to Z. But you see, if A to Z was in paramount, August will have been first. But it has to take the first sort as the primary sort and the second sort as the secondary sort to give me a close match. Let me repeat it again, and with the month name being the first match, the first sort, and we'll see. So I have to come to custom sort, and let me delete all of this and start all over. So I want to sort by the month name now, A to Z, then add another sort and sort by profit. This is not right. Profit should, okay, they even pick profits. Yes, profits largest to smallest. I click on OK. Are you seeing what happened now? I'm trying to show you a dominant and a lesser dominant sort. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to show.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand me, please?
Yes, sir.
So on the month now, which was now the dominant, it started with A, right? And in the group of this A, under A, it basically, under A for April, it basically gave me the largest to smallest under April. Then it came to August again. Are you seeing August 165? If you come to April, here you have 115, right? If you come to August now, it basically looked at all of these as the same section and gave me everything under August from largest to smallest under August. Right? It came to December. It started from the largest in December. If you check, the largest in December will be larger than the largest in August or April. But it held down December as a new range now. And it said in December, the largest to the smallest in December. So it will be easy for us basically to actually arrange data using sorting in various ways, depending on how you want to do it. You might, if we want to sort this now from largest, entire data set from largest to smallest, you find out that April might just be somewhere in the bottom, right? And you find maybe December, 238,000 might be at the top. But I want to basically arrange it in this order now. I can do this because I might say, I want to know December performance. And the largest in December is this, and the lowest in December is this. I want to know December performance over the years. So that is how you can do sorting, okay? You can do sorting that way too, okay? So you can also sort by random number. let me give you this instance. You're helping somebody create a questionnaire or helping somebody enter a questionnaire. So you are concerned about the question being the questionnaire entered very similar. I don't know whether you understand this point. That is, I have a questionnaire and I just have to impute agree, disagree. So I'm imputing agree and disagree, agree for different people, yet it seems like it's the same person that filled it. Right?
Okay.
So, but I want to mix it up. I want to mix this up now. Okay, like this thing I have now, I want to mix it up. Let's say I had something enter like this, and I'm worried that if I submit this thing like this, it's going to look like something somebody just cooked up. Right? So what I can do is to sort using random numbers. The random numbers will just randomize everything, right? I can say equals to rand, and I open and close my bracket and hit enter. So I have a random number here, but when I autofill, I have a range of random entries. You can see how random they are. So if I highlight everything now, I go to custom sort, I will want to probably sort using column E, which is a random, right? And I can pick anyone from smallest to largest or largest to smallest on the random. Okay. Let me see, what is that? All sort criteria must have a column. Okay. So let me take out this. Let me sort this out because it's already sorted. So I just want to make them random. So I can basically make them random now. You see how random they're coming. Are you seeing this? Should I repeat the process?
Yes.
All right. So I have entered a random number. I've entered some random numbers because I have this like this and I don't want it like this. I just want to shuffle, basically shuffle the data. Let's look like something entered over a, okay. Ilona, you raised your hand. You have a question?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please, when I was creating this random number, anytime I click a cell outside a random number, it changes. Is it supposed to be like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, let me show you what to do so that it doesn't change. You know, all of these things are formula right now, isn't it? They are all formula.
Yes.
So if you want to have a static random randomization, so what you do is after you enter the random, because if you can perform any calculation, it keeps changing. Your listing keeps changing. So to stop that, you highlight your random cell, your random column, you copy it. Then you come to a new column, right click, and you can see, you say paste as values. Okay. You see, right?
Paste as values. Okay.
Paste as values.
Yes.
So what I can do now is to delete the random. So these are values now and not formulas anymore. So this doesn't change, it remains static.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So this remains static. So now I have these numbers and I want to make this random. I've highlighted my entire data set that I want to mix up. I go to my home tab, then on the editing group, sort and filter, I go to custom sort. Let me delete this and add another level, add a fresh level. I pick the column with a random, which is column E. I want to sort by that column because I want to mix my entire data set up. So I can leave it as smallest to largest or largest to smallest, any one you want. Then you click OK, you basically mix it up. Do you see that it's mixed up now?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so now we are done with this guy, the random. It has done its job and we will delete it. Okay, so now we have this sort of random numbers. I think I said we wanted to go to now filtering. And the easiest way, I'll show you 2 ways. Okay, Olaoluwa, you raise your hand. Can I hear from you?
Yeah, sorry. I want to ask, like I'm quite confused right now.
Okay.
What is the idea of the random number?
Okay, the idea of the random number is to mix up your data set. Like in practice, right? There are
Yeah.
sometimes, okay, like this data I collected, I got this data for analysis from the CDC, right? And the numbers were, it was supposed to be entered at random. Let me
All
explain.
right, sir.
Yes, it was supposed to be entered at random. You know that data collected over time is supposed to appear random and not appear filtered, isn't it?
Yes.
So
Yes.
there's a way a data that has been filtered has been entered. It looks too orderly. So if you were to present this, there are a lot of questions, especially when it comes to research. There are a lot of questions that will pop up. Was this data forged? Because it really looks like you just sat down and began to enter something very similar.
Oh, okay.
You understand? So
Yes.
if you don't want any of that, because the person, it was something I did for a client. The client wasn't a client, it was a friend. It was a senior friend who was analyzing data for someone, but his result kept coming in a certain way. Yes. So when he showed me the data, I said, I think we should mix this up. Let's mix this up. Then we can basically tend to want to filter and work with it very well. So what I did was I made it random. When I made it random, you could not just see a pattern again. It was random. It can basically be collected anytime. So
All right. So
yeah,
the idea is just to make it seem as if it's not forged.
exactly.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay.
You understand?
I now understand. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So there are other applications to the random. For instance, in MS Word, for instance, you can just use dummy text or dummy numbers, or just put random entries for the sake of just teaching or instructing, right? But you can, in Microsoft Excel or spreadsheet, you can use the random to basically sort using random to mix your data up. Okay. So now on filter, the best way to filter your data, like you can see that they have sort and filter here, and you have filter here, right? You see this filter, you see what it did? It added some elements of filtration or a funnel to this. Let me do it again. We have a plain data set, right? We have this data set right now, okay? And on our home tab, if you come to the editing group again, we did custom sort, right? There is filter under. You click on filter, it adds a filter button to each column. Okay, do you see the filter buttons? Do you see the filter buttons?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
it adds a filter button
Yes,
that
sir.
you can use to filter.
Yes, sir.
However, you don't filter every column. I can't filter profit because every entry is a single entry. I cannot filter it. Every entry is a single entry, right? I can't filter that entry. But I can filter using dates. You see, we just have 2 dates. That is 2 years, 2014 to 2013. If you collapse, you are going to see the individual months within the year. That is to tell you that this dates was actually properly formatted. Are you seeing how arranged it is? Even though the data is random, right? It's at random. Then we can also sort using categories, text that are entered based on categories. That is to say, you cannot sort using the name of a person or name of employee. You can sort, for instance, when you are doing HR attrition, you can sort using departments, business units, team names, and so on. But you cannot sort using employee name or employee number, because no employee have the same number and the same name. It shouldn't be. So you can sort using departments and so on, but you cannot sort using names. So basically, you can sort using a category that groups data. You can sort using month number because that is when you notice that we just have 12, right? No matter the entry on month number, you just have 12. Even when you have day, you just have 30. Okay. So if you want to see just the performance of 2014, you can just click on 2014 and you click on 2014 and you say okay. All right. So everything we have here will just be 2014. Okay. And if you want a particular month in 2014, you just need to expand the date and say, I don't want January and I only want December. Okay. Okay. It only gives you December data. Okay. Well, I think that there's something I want to share with you beyond this. So I'll basically clear the filter on this. And let me have it together again. Then remove the filter, the applied filter. Then I will click somewhere. This is the starting point for this. I want to enter a table. A table is the easiest way for you to filter and manage your data. So I will click somewhere in my data set and say Control T. Control T will help you create a table. It's a shortcut to create a table. And always check my table has headers so that this first row will become your headers. And you click OK. So you have this table now, okay? The table has the presence of the filter button, just as we had earlier. The same presence of the filter button, just as we had earlier. But there's one very sweet thing about the table that the table has extra. The table has what we call the slicer, okay? I can insert a slicer on the month name, okay? Now, this is it. Basically slice through. I will explain again. I just want to show you how good this looks, okay? And you can basically just slice through your data by just clicking through buttons, refreshing your slicers this way. So let me start again, right? But did you get up to control? You got up to Control T, right? To create a table. Are we following? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. So now Control T we use to create a table. Then I want to insert a slicer. Okay, because this is a table, I can insert slicers in two ways. And you can only insert a slicer by clicking on the table or within the table. If you click out, you cannot insert a slicer. You see, you can't insert a slicer. So I click in a table or inside a table, I go to table design. If I click out, it will disappear. It's a conditional tab. I click within the table, you see the table design. Then I go to tools, right? On tools, you can see insert slicer. Okay, click on insert slicer, then select what you want to slice with. Remember, it is not possible to slice with singular entries like profits. You can slice with things that are or labels that are entered as categories. So I can pick date, for instance, as a slicer to be a good slicer. Then I have the dates. But see now, the problem here now with dates on slicer is that we just have singular entries to dates. And that is why we separate columns like dates, right? We separate them into month, number, and name, okay? That is the reason why we do that, why we do use delimiter to separate this. That's the reason we do that. So let's insert a slicer that makes more sense. If you want to insert more than one slicer, you check more than one item in the insert slicer dialog. Then you now click OK. So I have two slicers entered. If you don't like for instance, look at this month number slicer. You have to scroll down, right? You have to scroll down. It doesn't make sense. And you have a lot of space after the numbers. So we could basically just work on this slicer to make it look better. Basically, like buttons that we have to work with, right? Then, then what we need to do now is to click on the slicer to activate the slicer or to select the slicer. You go to your slicer tab. All of these things now, of these commands now are to help you work with your slicer, okay? So you have column here under buttons. You have column. Right now we have just one column, right? If we increase the column, we begin to increase the number, reduce the number or the width of the buttons and the columns of the buttons. Now we have 3 columns. Because it's date, I think we can work with 4 columns efficiently. So we can click, hold, and adjust it. See where I'm clicking? Don't click here. If you click here, you are going to be minimizing the column. So just let it be and adjust this downward up so that we have it like that. Okay, this way we now have something we can easily just manage. The same thing applies here. If you want to adjust the column size, you can adjust it. You can come, click on the slicer to activate it, then increase the number of columns. So if this month number and month name, they are the same thing. I just use them so that I show you how we can adjust something that is small like this and something that is larger. So if I pick January now, you see how it affects the table. This is January. So I can basically see the data. So what happened? The principle is that it hits every column that is not selected. That's why we have 1, 368, and 525. Others have been hidden. I pick February, it shows me February. I pick April, it gives me April. September, I have September. November, I have November. Then, you understand, I keep going that way. Okay, if you want to clear your filtering, you can just easily click on the funnel here and to clear your filtering. Okay, it's as easy as that. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is.
All right. So,
sir, I have a question.
yes, go on.
Well, to create this table, I have to put my cursor on the first cell, right? Let's say the profit cell.
Okay, yeah, it might just be any cell, but within the data set. But you have to be, because sometimes if you do Control T, it will not highlight the entire cell. You have to look at the address, okay?
Oh, okay.
Yes, you have to look at the address. This is already a table. Let me see somewhere here, something like this. Let me use this to explain. If I click anywhere within this data set and say Control T, you see what happens. It just thought that, okay, I mean all of this area. So if I meant all of this area, what I'll need to, if I meant everything here, what I'll need to do is to change the address here. Okay, I can just change this to A. Okay. So it's going to be A1 to J10. It's going to be like this. So you just always take note of that address so that you can just change, okay? If it doesn't wrap perfectly. All right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So any other question, please? Okay. So let's look at conditional formatting a bit. Let's look at conditional formatting. Okay, I think then we have to connect our instances. If you have installed your SQL Server and SQL Server Management Studio, can you say yes, yes, yes? Let me see. I had a conversation with some of some members of your team, and I think some of you have installed yours. So we are going to check. I think we're going to use Mr. Nosike's system today to just talk about connection, and it's quite easy.
Okay, sir.
Yes. So let me just do a little bit of conditional format, then we go on. to do that. So conditional format is just a way of formatting. You can use formulas for conditional format too. Conditional format is a way of just indicating physically or with a style, using styles, ranges, or talk about ranges using styles. For instance, now we have this column A, and we have a whole lot. Highlight cell rule. Highlight cell rules basically highlight some cells or highlight cells based on selected rules, right? Then top to bottom rules actually work on cells based on the top item, say top 10, bottom 10, top 10%, bottom 10%, or average of a number based on some selected formula. For instance, top 10 items now, you can basically just indicate the top 10 items you have on your profit, okay? And you can as well customize the way it appears, okay? On the top 10, okay? So let's give a top 10 green and just go ahead and say, okay, you can see we have our top 10 as green. So if you scroll along, you are going to have the top 10, was it top 10% we picked? You are going to have it like that. So that is just how the top 10 works. So all of these are quite simple. As we progress, I'll still show you how to use, apply borders using conditional formatting. So there are lots of tricks that make work highly productive. And again, conditional formatting can be very essential in dashboard visualization, okay? You have them in Power BI as well. When we are talking about dashboard with Power BI, I'm going to still touch in our live classes. I'm still going to talk about conditional formatting and how we can use them in Power BI to have efficient dashboards, okay?
Yes, sir.
So what makes data bars? I've used data bars to create applications on Microsoft Excel, and they are very, very nice, have nice outlooks. For instance, if you look at this, where you have negative, right? Where you have negative values, the icon bars basically makes it very interesting, right?
Yes.
Makes it nice. Okay, let's just look at, let's make this data short so that you see how it looks. Look at this now. We have in March, so we can easily know where we have profit and where we have losses with data bars, right? Easily.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
somebody might just mistake and think this is 33,000. You mean this is 33,000. You mean this is 3,000. Somebody might just make that mistake. But with data bars like this, you can basically know with the colors of the data bars where you having a loss and where you're having a profit. Okay. You can easily just tell that. All right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Laolua, you have a question?
Yes, sir. Please, sir, can you sharply go over the data banks again?
Okay. All right. Okay. So the data bars is another form of yes, conditional formatting, and you can find conditional formatting in your home tab under styles, right? You basically highlight. We are working with our profit column, and so we are highlighting the profit column here. So head on to conditional bars and we'll say conditional formatting rather, and say data bars. So you can basically pick from solid colors, right, of your choice. Like, see now we are talking about profit. So profit and loss. If you're working on a profit and loss analysis, the profit should be green, isn't it? While loss red. So
Yes, sir.
yes, it's better for us to show it that way. So that we know that green, if not, but whatever we pick, the losses will be red. But it will not be nice to pick the red because profit now looks red, loss now looks red. So I think
Definitely.
it's most efficient to use the green bar. So the difference between the gradient is that the gradient has, the difference between the gradient and the solid is that the gradient have a different way, different feel, right? Two colors, kind of, the gradient. Right, the solid field just have one, so it's just the same thing. So let me pick the solid field now. I have green and red, right? Red indicating loss, while green indicating profit. So I said I just wanted to make this data set shorter so that we can easily appreciate it more. That is why I picked just to selected March of 2013, right? So in March of 2013, we can say we have losses here and profits here. Okay, so where we have just small profits, we are seeing the data, the bars are very small. Okay, so the losses are red and the profits are green. Then the higher the profit, the higher the data bar. The larger the loss, the larger the data bar. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So that's just it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So let's head on to connecting SQL so that we'll see it. So I'll stop sharing so that is Mr. Nosike still there?
Yes, sir.
So let me stop my share and have you. So for the record, we are about over 140 something students, I think, on data analytics. And in this meeting, we have 22 people active on this meeting. So it shows that we have a lot of people who are not okay. Elon Nemeka, I missed your question.
Yes, that's my question. Erika.
Oh, okay. On what again? On the dollar sign, right? Okay. Sorry about that. Please let me come back to you. All right. Okay. So what happens, Mr. Nemeka, what happens is this. The dollar sign talks about either a fixed cell or a fixed range, right? Let me give you another instance. Let me say, let me give you another instance. Let me say name, biology, and let me use percentage. Okay, so we have Ada, we have Meka, am I correct? We have John, we have Paul, and we had a biology score of, you know, now is me now, so I'll give myself a high biology score. So we have 76, 90, 65, 89. So definitely have a total biology score, right? The total biology score we calculate using sum equals to sum. The sum calculates the total, this range. So sum B12 to B15, and we'll say we have our total. So we want to calculate the percentage now. And percentage means that I must divide 76 by 320, 90 by 320, 65 by 320, 89 by 320. Because I want to do that, I'll say equals 76, right? Divide by 320. But you know now, let's say we are working with a large data set. I cannot come and do, I say, sorry, by 320, I say enter. I will not come and do the same thing here again. I'll say equal 90 divided by 320. Oh, well, it's going to be a tedious task. So instead, what I'll just do, I'll just say equals, in the first instance, 76 divided by 320. But this 320, where this 320 is, I want to tell Excel that remain here. This is where I'm referencing. Hold this down, maintain this place, and hold this down, okay? Okay, so I will just either come, if you don't want to use the shortcut, you can just hold down shift 4 to add dollar before the letter, and then another dollar before the row number. But if you want to use the shortcut, you just use F4, okay? You can use F4 to add. And when I'm adding it, are you seeing what it's referencing? It's saying I'm holding down 320. This is 320. If I hit enter, I have my results. So I can basically come to this small box here where my cursor becomes a small dark plus. I will double click. I can autofill correctly. Okay. So if I make this a percentage, now it's percentage. Like the last meeting, I said it is best for us to calculate this way and then make them percentage instead of multiplying by 100. Okay, if we come and calculate the total of this percent now and say sum equals sum, and we highlight that in C12 to C15 and hit enter, it's going to give us 100%, showing us that our calculation is very correct. Okay. Is that clear?
Yes, very clear, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Another way where you see dollar sign used is when we mean to say a particular column, for instance. Now, look at this place now. You have B, right? This is B, okay? Let me insert another column. Now, okay, no, that wouldn't be right. Let me insert another column. Let me insert a new B, basically. So it now turns to C. But before now, this wouldn't have turned to C. What would have happened is like it have given you a division error that B is no longer here. But because of updates and so on, I'm using Excel 2021, you see that this is no longer a problem. But when you want to do any calculation, for instance, let's look at this. Let's look at what we had here. Let's say I want to enter a table here. Watch what happens. I highlight and say Control T. Are you seeing $A1 to $A to $11, $A, $11 rather, to $C, $16? What it means is that it is wrapping this, right? The table actually works with a kind of name range. When you come to name, when you get to name range, you see that we use this a lot. So if we say, okay, this is a table now, and this table refers basically to this area, I could add, because Excel knows that I could keep adding cells, but adding columns rather, but I still have my table. Okay. So if let me check this table name now. Table design, then my table name is table 4. If for any reason I come somewhere and I want table 4, this is table 4 already here. If I want table 4, I can still have my content for table 4, which is what I have here. So when you get to name ranges, you basically see this again, the use of those dollar signs there. All right.
Sir, hello, sir.
Yes.
Sorry, you just did equal to table 4 and it came out.
Yes.
But the table 4 is as equal as is the same thing with the Ada, Nemeka, John Paul, the first one that we did. I'm kind of lost here.
Okay. No, I'll just show you an example. Okay, look at this now. We have table 4. Let me just add this total here so that I'll not have 1. We have table 4. This is table 4, right? We made this a table. So it is a named range. We can also extract this name, biology, percentage into somewhere else. We can refer to it. But I was explaining that we have basically wrapped these data sets into a name called a table. And that table name is table 4. See it here, right? We go to table design and table 4. I can just change this now to subject. I can change this table name to subject. The reason I'm showing you this is because when you go to SQL now, you are going to see that these principles are what make SQL very interesting, where you give table names, you talk about objects, where you create new objects or new tables from a major table, a main table, and so on and so forth. So you see, as we have this now, we have subject as a table name. So if I maybe if I go to any sheet now, for instance, this sheet now, for instance, and I say equal to, maybe I want to use that data here, equal to subject, the way I wrote it, okay? You can see that subject is saved as a table. So you are going to see that this principle applies very well in SQL, right?
Yes.
It applies in SQL very well. So if I say enter, it's basically giving me the values of my table, the original values of my table. All right, where this was percent, formatted as percentage. Okay, so I can still format this as percentage, and if I do, I have them still at the same number of percentage as I had them on the table. So
yes, sir.
Yes, so it's going to be clearer by the day. There are a lot of things we can do, a lot of magic we can do, and to make data analytics simple and interesting. I promise.
So it's getting interesting, actually.
You said, pardon?
It is actually getting interesting.
All right, it is. By the time you get to more advanced concepts, you are going to see how interesting it looks. And that's why I don't want you guys to rush. Just take your time as we have spread it. Take your time. I understand that lots of you are busy during the day and now you get home, you get tired. But there's a way you can work. If you even rush it, that is even of more disadvantage. You are even at more disadvantage. So take it gradually, finish it, and let all of those simple concepts come to bear, because when you go to dashboard visualization, that is when you realize how useful or important shading cells. You feel that video, that class, it's not. But when you go to data visualization now, the best practice on visualizing data, that is when you know that, oh, shading was good, oh. Shading was good. Borders were good, oh. Then you begin to run back to say, you want to go and look at that video again. How can you and why should you shade cells and so on? So, Ademola, it seems you have some serious network issues. You keep coming and going.
You also said something about a shortcut that we can use to put the dollar sign. Is it Control F4?
No, just F4. F4, that is function. Okay. The function key, F4, not F and 4 on the keyboard. The function key, function F4. We have F1, F2, F3, then F4.
Yes.
Yeah, F4, yes. Just F4, not control. Okay, do we have any other question? You know what? I really look up to your questions, right? Because I really look up to your questions. And again, you can get questions from things concerning data analysis that intrigue you. So you can get questions from them. And let's see how we can do that to make your experience worthwhile. Okay. So that's why
sorry.
Yes.
with regards to your question, though, what I'm about to say, it's
Yes.
not like it has nothing to do what we've been discussing here, though.
Yes, please go on.
But it's on analysis.
Yes, go
I
on.
once attended an interview
Yes,
for a job of a business developer and proposal officer.
yes,
So after the oral interview, we're given a document
yes,
on Excel
yes.
to actually analyze. It came with an instruction from a PDF. The Excel sheet is different. Excel document is different. Why the PDF document is quite different. It was in the PDF. They gave the instruction on how to do. The truth is, I lost the job because of the time frame for the submission. And again, it was quite complex because we were supposed to analyze the data, and most of the data we had there was qualitative, not quantitative data. So it was from, I think, a collected questionnaire. They just did. In fact, the data was not clean. It was rough. So getting to understand the data, I don't know if it is possible to share it to you maybe later, and you give me your own insights and as to what I needed to have done then.
Okay, you have the data set with you?
Yes, I should have. I saved it on my Google Drive.
Okay.
So that I can actually get it anytime I want.
You have my number now. You can send to me via WhatsApp, yeah?
All right, sir.
Okay. Who is speaking, please?
Justus Nemeka.
Okay, Justus. I'll be expecting it. But now, I want to give an insight because of those listening.
Okay.
Qualitative data needs aggregation. Qualitative data needs aggregation. It needs you to summarize. Okay?
Okay.
So that is what qualitative data needs. There are various on pivot analysis, you are going to see how we summarize qualitative data. And qualitative data, you can basically, let me just for the sake of those that will have wanted be maybe have similar question now. Let me look at this. Let me look at here. I think this will make sense. See this data now. We have product and discount bound, right? And you see that here, product, we have Carretera and the rest. This is qualitative data, not quantitative. So you will not be thinking of addition, average, and what have you not. So we have this now. Now, let me give you a bit insight to something like this. A question might come and say, let us know, say we want to know, or let me do it this way. I think this would be more sales, not sales price, gross sales, okay? Let's use gross sales. Let me pick gross sales out and add it here. Where was it? Okay, let me pick gross sales and add it here. So you might have a question, like probably on such analysis, they want you to, I will not take you now to the advanced pivot, but you will get there. You have lessons there. But the nested if and the rest that some people just played with and felt like it wasn't, I don't know why they were not really watching. This is where the secret lies. Oh my God. This is where secret of understanding analysis lies. And let's say a product performance. Hold on, let's do this. Let's add a filter so that a filter button so that we can actually see the product we have. We have Amarilla, Carretera, Montana, Paseo, Valeo, and VTT, isn't it? Are you guys still following?
Yes, sir. We're following, sir.
Okay, so let's can you remember? I think we can just scroll down. We had Carretera. Let's have a summary here. Let's say product, and we have gross sales here. Gross sales. Okay. So you know that these gross sales were over a long period of time, but I want to know the most performing. Let's say the company was in review. We say we want to say 2 years in review, 10 years in review. Okay. We do growth analysis like that, where a company or Jumia will say we want to have 2022 in review, or 2022 from 2022 to 2023 in review. You can have that analyze data like that. So we have Carretera, right? We have Carretera. Okay, so let me just do this like this, equals Carretera. Okay, enter, equals Montana, enter, equals Paseo. So I don't want to spell any one that's not correct. We have Velo and VTT. Oh, we have Amarilla as well. Equals, we have Velo equals
8.3.
VTT. You can see my screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Amarilla. Okay. There's another way to do this anyway, but we take it little by little. So now, okay, sorry. Okay, now we have gross, we have this like this. So one of the things that we're expecting you to do is to basically summarize your data. And we have, now let's say gross sales. I want to add count here. I want to add count so that at least we can do something else with this as well. So gross sales, I want to know, we want to summarize all of this big data we have here. So let's take Carretera now. We'll say equals sum if, sorry, sum, not sum, sum if, open our bracket. So we need a range, then we need a criteria, the sum range. We have a lesson like this, but let me explain to ease your understanding then. So the range is where your criteria is coming from. So your range now will be this, okay? A, this is where your criteria is coming from. That's where we pick product, isn't it? Is that not so?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, so our criteria is Carretera, for instance, here in F2. So our sum range, our sum range is what we are summing, which is gross sales, isn't it? That's what we sum. We want to sum. So I close my bracket and I said enter. So it's summing, it sums Carretera well for me. So I'm going to autofill so that it sums others for me. So I am just going to add the currency to this so that we can have a greater look at it, okay? Okay, so easily, we have this product, Carretera, we have their performance here, the product performance of their gross sales. This is the performance of gross sales. So you see that every time Carretera was bought, you see that it entered Carretera, then it mixed with Montana, you go down, you still see Carretera. So what if we want to know how many times Carretera occurred? Let's see that, is it that people are buying, you realize that there are products people will buy more, but the gross sales might be low because of the, let's say somebody selling sachet Milo. The person might sell a lot of sachets of Milo, but the total sales will not be as much as a person selling tin can or tin Milo, isn't it?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, so let's look at it and see if we can get that insight. So we can say equals, we can say count if, okay? Count if counts the number of text, okay? So it counts the number of text, just qualitative data alone. So we are talking about range and criteria now. The range is where we are taking our criteria from. So our range is A to A, while, our criteria will be Carretera. That is, we are searching for Carretera in product. That's what it just basically means. So we say close and we say enter. So Carretera appeared a total of 93 times. So we can then autofill it. And we have Pursue appearing a total of 202 times, and Velo, VTT, and Amarilla. So basically now, if we were to look at this now and see the number of appearance, does it really reflect on the cost, on the gross sales? Then if you look at profit, you can also calculate profit. Assuming we took profit out here, you can also calculate profit. then the difference between profit and so on. So this is how you generate the insights from such analysis. Okay. So Emeka, right? If you send your data, the data, I will do well to send the data and the PDF they send to you. I can, so that I'll help you guys with those interview questions, answer them, and share back with you. I think I can put
Thank you very much.
I can put the steps that were used there as well. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll do that.
Okay, please. I'm expecting. I believe your classmates and team members will be excited to receive it too.
Yes, sure. We will be.
All right. So you have interviews. So I want to let you know that there's nothing small. There is nothing small to learn when it comes to data analysis. In fact, it's the small things that turn out to be the great things. Because when you go for such interviews, nobody wants to be wild. Oh, you know dashboard. Oh, you know visualization. Hey, because visualization, brothers and sisters, visualization is the end of analysis. So what is truly important is the small things. Because everybody wants to be sure that what they are visualizing is correct. It's correct insight. Because you can actually visualize anything. You can visualize poor data, poor analyzed data, and so you can visualize it. But now, is it correct? So what matters now is the small things. Whether you can use R, you can use ggplot, you can use matplotlib library in Python, whether you can use pandas. Nobody really cares. How can you use it for correctness? Because data, you must be correct. It must be correct. It's not close to correct. It must be correct. So in the end, it's these little things that matter. When I jump on a new analytic tool, I use my knowledge because of the old analytic tool, right? Because if you know the origin, if you know the, how do you call it now? The fundamentals, you know it. It's basically applied everywhere. You can see, I can tell you how you can apply it from Microsoft Excel, how tables are used, and so it makes things easy when you're on SQL. People run away from SQL because of queries, but SQL is easy. The queries are easy, right? Yes, they are run away. You will not know how to write a query, basically. If you don't know what is expected, what is a table, what is a database, what is a column, what are rows, what is a primary key, what is the primary key supposed to be, what is it supposed to act, how do I connect? So all of these things are from the little things. It's the little things that come together that form the great things, the big things that you see, those little things. A car that we drive, cars that we drive are held together by bolts. No individual part of that car can drive itself. But when they are put together, they function as a multi-system. That's what data analysis is. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'll stop sharing my screen. And Mr. Nosiki, we just have 6 minutes. Let me see your screen. And so.
Okay. Host disable participant screen sharing. Still waiting on you, sir.
Okay. Sorry.
Rational.
Yes, you can.
Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen now, sir?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the SQL applications I downloaded, sir.
Okay, so let me start from here. So if you look at it, we have the SQL Server Management Studio. So the first thing, the only app you are only allowed to open is the SQL Server Management Studio. This one here, under the SQL Server 2022 error, this thing. No, this one, under it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That is the only one you have to open. The other ones run in the background, okay?
Okay.
Yes, the other ones run in the background. So open that SQL Server Management Studio.
Okay.
Just double click on it. To open it. Okay, I have a question here from user, a new question. If you are the one, I don't know who is user. He said, good afternoon, sir. If a company wants to embark on launching a new product as data analyst, how do I generate the data and perform necessary analysis to prove my employer that this business is of profit to the organization? Now, there are various ways you can generate data, but most organizations won't have the time or money to generate primary data. By primary data, which is more suitable, because from primary data, you can actually, that means you have properly segmented your audience. You will not be working based on the data generated by different companies. Their audience might not be suitable. Okay, from Jeremiah SEO, their audience might not be suitable to your product. Let's say you want to create a product. From the creation of the product, from the start of the product, the team is supposed to do what? Generate data, what? Collect data from interviews, from based on the users they have identified. For instance, if you have identified that it is people in the rural communities that will use that product, they should be able to perform interviews on how those people will need it, how they perceive the product, and so on, okay? But if that is not done, you can get secondary data from similar products. Let me give you an instance for similar products. Let's say the product you are talking about is a disinfectant or a cream. Let's use a disinfectant. So you can get data from, hold on, Mr. Nosike, okay?
Okay, sir.
You can get secondary data from, or white papers from different areas, how people react with that product, or those, for instance, Dettol, Septol, all others. How do they react with that product? So that is where you see, instead of people coming with a different name, you might just suggest that, oh, people already know Dettol. Maybe you come up with a name that is close to Dettol. Okay, you can get your data from secondary sources. For instance, if you want to understand e-commerce data, you can always get Jumia data. You can get Jumia data. You can get data from Jumia publish their sales analysis. They publish their data. Konga publish their data, and so on. So you can actually get those data, lay your hands on those data. Okay, then you analyze. But as a data analyst, I will tell you that the most efficient is data you generate from primary sources, from surveys. Okay. All right. So I think I've answered your question. Okay. So now, if you have your SQL Server Management Studio installed, as well as your SQL Server installed, what you need to do is to connect to the two apps. Okay. And I don't want you, please, the less you play with it, the easier for us. It will give us less errors. We will not struggle with it at all. It's actually very easy to connect. But if you start starting stuff like that, you'll be stopping and starting so many instances, and it will become a kind of problem a little bit for us to manage. Except I work with you individually and say, okay, let me check the system very well. Okay, so now the SQL Server, this is your studio, right? Where you write, just like your Arrow Studio, where you write your code. This is where you write your queries, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So this is what you always put on. So automatically, it should connect with your server, and your server, right, is the SQL server.
Okay.
So to do this now, once you open this pops up, right? This SQL server connector.
Yes, yes.
So you have your login database engine. Click the drop down on database engine. And we are actually meant to connect to database engine, but just click the drop down, okay? On database engine. No. Server type.
Okay, yeah, okay. Drop down, yeah.
So you see that you have several server type, but our interest is the database engine. So just click on the database engine.
Okay.
So your server name, usually the first one is usually SQL Express, right? And this XHS that you have is from your username. Okay.
Yes.
You see from your computer name. It's going to be different based on the name of your PC. Right?
Okay.
So Windows authentication here, that means you're authenticating because you can use cloud, right? You can use cloud. You click the drop down on Windows authentication, you'll see. You can use SQL Server authentication. You can use various authentication methods. But this is connecting the server is your Windows PC, right? It's your PC. So it's going to use the authenticator of your server, of your PC, right? So just pick Windows authentication and okay. It should connect very well. Do you have, is your PC encrypted? Is it like company PC or something?
Yeah, it's a company PC, but not encrypted.
Okay. Okay. So I'm saying, okay. So clicking on connect here now should be, should work, should connect this server. Go on and click connect. Let's see. Should connect this, I hope. Just go straight. Okay.
Okay, a connection was successfully established with the server, but then an error occurred during the login process.
Authority is not trusted. Okay. This usually happens, right? When this usually happens when okay. Close it. Click. Okay. So this, what will happen is, I will work with Mr. Nosike privately to sort this out. So he will basically help you guys. Is your team lead, Nabi, Mr. Nosike?
Yes, sir.
You basically help because it's supposed to be straightforward. And on the server name, remove the XHS. Okay, remove the XHS. Let's just do that. Remove the / just allow SQL Express. So on demand, click on the drop down on connection security. See it, yes, encryption, on the encryption. Okay.
Okay.
Check. Okay.
Can you hear me, sir? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you. Check.
Which of them should I?
Click on optional. Let's take optional. Or if you put mandatory, you have to check trust server certificate. Okay, click on connect together and see. It's not supposed to take this long. If it takes this long, it's not going to. A network-related instance for zero established connections. Okay, Mr. Nosike, I'll work with you later to fix this up. If it doesn't connect, sometimes if you're working with a company PC, this is going to be a problem, but we are going to find a way to connect it. We'll connect it. Okay? Yeah. It's supposed to be very easy. All right. So the team leads. Okay, you say you clicked on trust server certificate and it worked. Okay. So, Mr. Nosike, like I said, click on trust server certificate now. Check the trust server certificate.
Okay. With
Yes,
the
uncheck it.
inscription
Check
being
it.
optional.
Yes, check it. And if it doesn't connect, you put back the XHS and then put it on mandatory.
Okay.
So it's taking too long. It's not connect.
Okay, let me try the mandatory now.
Yes, close it, put it on mandatory, then put back the X.
Yes, HS.
Yes, put back the S. Yes. / backward slash rather, backward slash, no, backward slash.
Okay. It was / initially.
Okay, / then.
Okay. Then checked trust server certificate.
Yes, yes. Oh, here's the issue. It still wouldn't connect. It will give us an error now.
So is it because it's an office system or?
Probably so, but out of the recording of this, I can correct this. A network related instance error code and stuff like that. We can basically add a new instance for your case, but it will not be the same with others. So we will do that later, okay?
Okay, sir.
Yes, we'll add a new instance. We'll do some settings like that. Add a new instance, okay?
All right.